I always tell myself today's the day that I'm going to clean my office. And then at the end of the day, it's worse than it was before. So today was not the day either. Hey everybody, how are you today? Is you still doing okay? You're still hanging in there? Good, good. So am I. Let's hang in there together. So, I wanted to talk to you some more about this Sony camera that I recently bought and about some of the best accessories that I purchased with it, because you know how you have to accessorize every camera. You can't just buy the camera and that's it. You gotta buy the lenses, you gotta buy cases, tripods, all this good stuff. One of the first accessories that I bought for the Sony ZV-E10 was a shotgun microphone. Let's backtrack a little bit. When I was filming with my Fuji cameras, I was always using a Rode microphone. I had the Rode Wireless Go, which is actually a really great microphone. It has really great sound, and for a while this worked really well. But then I noticed that a lot of the times my sound was not as great as I thought it should be with this great expensive microphone. And I figured there were so many settings that I wasn't really considering. And then I was trying to play around with the settings, but I was not getting the sound that I wanted. And everything was complicated. So when I bought this new Sony camera, one thing that really fascinated me was the fact that Sony sells microphones that work really well with the cameras that they make that have a multifunction hot shoe on top of the camera. So that means that certain microphones will talk to the camera without cables. And there's contacts in the microphone and there's contacts on the camera, and these transmit a digital sound from the microphone to the camera. What appealed to me was the fact that I wouldn't have to plug anything into the camera anymore. I would just put the microphone on top of the camera and then they would talk to each other because same family, like, hello, Sony. The other thing I liked was the fact that I wouldn't have to stuff a receiver down my shirt anymore like I used to, because I just put it in my bra. Because when I was having it here, it just looks funny, this little... I'm not moving around a lot. So why not just having a shotgun microphone point at me? Of course, if I move away from the camera and move back, the sound is not the same, but I'm also moving away from the camera. Why should the sound be the same? Let's be real. The microphone I ended up buying because of my research. It's the ECM-B10. Who names these Sony products? I know I'm not the only one that worries about this, but it makes no sense. The ECM-B10 microphone is kind of the middle of the line of the shotgun microphones that Sony makes. There's a more expensive one, and then there's a much smaller, cheaper one. I actually found this microphone used on Amazon for about $50, $60 off. And how it often happens with these warehouse deals from Amazon, the microphone is actually brand new. There was no mark on it. It came in the proper packaging. It worked flawlessly from the first moment. I was fully intent to trying it out, and if it wasn't working for me, I would send it back. But I have not stopped using it since I bought it. So, what are the benefits of this microphone compared to the Rode? First of all, the sound is great. I will use the microphone in digital mode. I will have the noise reduction to medium. I have the decibel rate to medium. I have everything to medium. And then when I go into post-production, what I do is I make a flat sound profile on Final Cut Pro, and I will turn on the noise isolation. And that gets rid of any kind of background noise, humming of air conditioners, the computer going, whatever. And I found this to be an excellent, excellent sound. Because it works so well with the Sony cameras, it actually does a lot of the heavy lifting for you. You don't have to mess around in settings. You plug it in and it goes. Once you plug that microphone on your camera, the settings within the camera for microphones are turned off, grayed out. You can't touch them. because you're setting the settings on the microphone, when you take the microphone off, the settings stay. Next time you put the microphone back on, the settings are the same again because you didn't change anything inside the camera and you didn't change anything on the microphone. And by the way, the camera feeds the microphone with power. So yeah, you take the microphone off, nothing can reset itself because there is no battery in that microphone. And again, your miles may vary. You may find that the Rode Wireless Go is such a better microphone for your need, but this is just me. A static setup, camera sits the same spot every time. For me, this is killer. I really like this. It has 3 settings, and I forgot to say that before. You can use it as a shotgun microphone, just pointing at the person that talks. You can use it as a microphone that uses mostly to pick up the voice from the front. If you happen to be behind the camera, it also picks up you behind the camera. And then you can set it as an omnidirectional microphone, so it picks up all the sound. So it's kind of three microphones in one. It has 2 levels of noise reduction. Actually, it has 3 levels of noise reduction, and no noise reduction at all, a 50% and 100%. I'm explaining it like this. And then it has very good sound quality with some additional settings in post-production. But in general, very good sound quality. You may have already noticed that maybe my picture looks a little bit different today, but it's because I'm now shooting on a color profile that I found on YouTube that is supposed to mimic Cinetone S from Sony, which this camera, the ZV-10, doesn't have, because I'm still trying to figure out what's the best way for me to film. And then I watched some color grading videos on the internet as well, and I'm really starting to understand the whole idea of color grading. It doesn't mean that you're overlaying your video with some funky, weird orange, blue colors, but it's just that all the footage that you put together will have more pleasing colors. Obviously, I'm still learning, and it may not be perfect for a little while, and it may never be perfect because this is just a hobby. I'm just dabbling with this kind of stuff. So, but maybe we can learn it together. Like maybe you're a beginner too, and you're looking at things and it's daunting. All the color wheels and grading and all those LUTs. What's a LUT? The other thing too is that maybe you noticed my last video was a little weird because I was looking at options and how to bring my point across without all the stuttering and the and the oh and whatever. So I tried to write a script last time and then memorize the script or read the script. I even looked at teleprompters and it just completely backfired on me. I felt awkward the entire time. I wasn't really talking to you. I wasn't talking to anybody. I failed memorizing the lines, although I had written it and read 50,000 times. Teleprompter is also not right for me because you look at the camera and the lens the entire time, but you're reading a script, and the people that watch my videos, they don't want anything scripted. They want me to talk to them like I would talk to them if I was sitting in a coffee shop. Well, hey, how's it going? Do you want to learn something about color grading? So I'm not even going to investigate the teleprompting angle because that's not me. I can't do that. I can talk for hours and hours and hours if you let me, and I don't need a script as long as I have something important to say. Maybe it's not. Maybe I can just make a video because I want to talk to you. And I know you're not responding in the moment, but you may respond later in the comments. I saw a video by the Wheezy Waiter that said, in order to be good or become good, you just have to do. So instead of waiting for that time when you have that perfect subject to talk about and you're in the mood to film right now, just do. You can't learn how to swim by watching other people swim. You can only learn it properly by jumping in the water and just putting these things that you learned into action. This is a stupid analogy, but it kind of works for me right now. Yes, the content you're watching on this channel will not always be perfect. It will very few times be perfect. It may never be perfect. But that's what this channel is about. It was always about me talking to you like you're my friends. And it was about me talking to you about things that I'm passionate about. And I'm passionate about photography and videography, filming, gadgets. So that's what I want to talk about to you. See, with the Wireless Go, I got myself one of those charging cases so they could always be charged. And that's another thing that you have to charge, not just your camera, but you got to charge your microphone, you got to charge your lights, you got to charge whatever. It's just so many things to charge. And this one you don't, because it draws the energy from the Sony camera. And I think that's one of the biggest pros of this microphone. So here are the negatives. It doesn't have many settings. You can't fine tune it. Yes, I know that was my positive too, but it's also negative depending on your style of filming. It is fairly big on the ZV-10. It is so big that I wouldn't want to take it outside my studio and walk around with it and film. I'm a middle-aged woman walking around with a camera on a stick. Even with a small microphone on the camera, it would still look stupid. Like, who are we kidding? The sound will only sound really good if you do some tweaking in post-production. Let's face it, it's just clicking two boxes. It's not that. And then the last of the 4 negatives is that it is really expensive. You pay $1,000 for the camera and you pay $300 for the microphone. That's a lot of money. $300, is it worth it? Let's make some comparisons to the microphones that I have, which is the onboard microphone of the ZV-10 without anything on it, like the out of camera sound. It's a microphone. And then the Rode Wireless Go 2. Let's see how that sounds. So let's do this. This is the sound from the Sony ECM-B10 on top of my camera with the settings that I said before, the middle of the road everything, with post-production adjustments. This is the sound from the ECM-B10 microphone without any adjustments in post-production. So this is what it sounds like when I'm just using the settings, middle of the line settings on the microphone itself, but I don't touch it in post-production. And there is some air conditioning going here and street noise and whatever else you want. Maybe my cat's meowing in the back. I don't know. This is without any fine-tuning in post-production. This is the sound from the Sony ZV-10 onboard microphone, how it sounds when it comes right out of camera without any adjustments in post-production. This is the sound of the onboard microphone that comes with the Sony ZV-10 with some slight post-production adjustments in Final Cut Pro, like noise reduction, enhancement, whatever. This is the sound from the Rode Wireless Go with settings middle of the road, with the microphone stuffed in my bra, just out of the road microphone. This is what it sounds with the Rode Wireless Go stuffed down my bra, attached to the camera at the middle of the road settings, with some small adjustments in Final Cut Pro. So what do you think? Do you like the picture? Do you like the sound? Yeah, sure, you can make suggestions, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna do it, you know. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you've learned something today, even if it's just that I don't know much at all. And I hope I'll see you again in my next video. Bye!